Welcome to What's Growing at CMC. Usually the weekly segment where I, Daniel,
and I, Talasha, share with you about some of what God is growing here at College Mennonite Church.
But right now, we are on vacation.
And Felipe has a great story that we all need to hear.
So, take it away, Felipe.
Some time ago, I had contact with a gentleman who was running an orphanage in Guadalajara, Mexico. And he reached out because he had a legal matter here in Indiana that was pending that he needed assistance with. After talking to him for a while at length about his situation, I decided that I was going to donate my time as an attorney to be able to help him resolve those issues. And I found out more about the need that people have in the Guadalajara area for children being abandoned and people that don't want to have their kids any longer or can't afford to have their children any longer with them. So my family was taking a family trip out to Mexico, and we went out to go visit this facility, and this gentleman at the what he presented as an orphanage. We went out there, and I had talked to leadership here at the church that was supportive of us as a congregation reaching out to orphans in the Guadalajara area in Mexico that needed assistance. And so we went out there, myself and Malui and Carmen and some of our family members that were there in Mexico that consist of teachers in the family that were with us. And we went out on a trip to Guadalajara and visited. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way we thought it would be. Sometimes things don't turn out that way. So we got out there, and it was, I think, the Holy Spirit leading us and confirmation over and over again that something just did not seem right. We got there and found that the individual that I'd been talking to was, I think, putting on somewhat of a show in order to get money from churches. It appeared to be somewhat of a con type situation where there weren't any children, and there was a facility that was falling to pieces that didn't even have electricity or running water, and they were starting to paint, yet there was no electricity or running water yet. There was painting going on, even though there were pictures hung on the wall of children. We didn't see any kids. We didn't get to interact with any of the children, and so we went on from there not feeling very good about the situation. However, my wife and I had previously had dealings with an orphanage in Guadalajara, Mexico, where we tried to get in contact with a very reputable organization out there called La Ola Children's Home. A medical doctor from the United States went out to medical school in Mexico many years ago and fell in love with the people of Mexico and Guadalajara specifically. So he and his wife lived here in the States for many years, and they decided to get up and move to Mexico. And they went there to Guadalajara, to the Lake Chapala area, where they established an orphanage, the La Ola Children's Home. And they have been renting for the past year a house from a friend that actually gave them 1 year of free rent to go and take the kids there. This place, however, completely different from the place that we started off going to support there in Guadalajara, is immediately credible. We went there and we saw the children and we saw the impact. Last time we were in Guadalajara, we were not able to connect with them for some reason, but this time it was a direct connection. When we got there, we got to speak to Dr. Bob and his wife that run the La Ola Children's Home, and it was just a confirmation from God, I believe, that we were supposed to end up there helping these folks. As we were having a conversation, this was prior to them even knowing that we had any contribution for the orphanage or for any orphan children in Guadalajara, Mexico. Dr. Bob's wife started talking to me and saying how they were engaged in a major building project where They had purchased some land and had already built the foundation and wanted to go on to build the rest of the facility and a school site on site so that the kids would not have difficulty with the government entities, because when children are abandoned, they don't have any documents. They don't have birth certificates, they don't have identifications, and nowhere to go. So they were building the school site at the facility. And so she said, I just need $5,000 to be able to do what I need to do for the next step to get us to where we have to go so that we can continue on the construction project. And lo and behold, that's the amount of money that we had available to be able to contribute to the orphanage. So it was just a confirmation for us. It was a tremendous blessing. Not only that, but when we got there, we were handed this baby girl, and you'll see some of the pictures. Baby Sarah was only 7 months old. Baby Sarah, just a week prior, had been left at a pharmacy. She had been abandoned there by her mother, who was not able to raise her or care for her anymore. And so she was taken to the authorities and handed over, and they brought her over to La Ola Children's Home, because La Ola Children's Home, where Dr. Bob and his wife are, they pride themselves in the fact that they don't raise children there to farm them out as other orphanages do to families. If a family falls in love with them, wants to adopt them, well, that's one thing. But they don't go out there and market kids to families to try to sell themselves as an orphanage that helps you find kids. They pride themselves in the fact that they take children from a very young age and they keep the girls. It's primarily girls. There's only one boy, and you'll see in the pictures there's one boy, and it's because he's related to a family of 3 of the girls. And he's been with them now for many, many years. And Dr. Bob and his wife are actually in the process of adopting the boy as a child of their own. But they take girls only, and they teach these young ladies how to be self-sufficient, how to be strong, how to be articulate, how to be kind, but also they educate them, and they teach them in English and Spanish because they want them to have access to the entire world. And so they educate the girls, and they keep them through university so that the girls can then get a degree and a great employment and be able to give back and mentor some of the younger girls. So I thought that was a great way to be able to minister to these young ladies. Not only did we enjoy baby Sarah, but some of the other girls that were there. I got to spend time with Malui and with Carmen and with some of our family members, and we enjoyed spending time with them. They were as much of a blessing to us as we were to them. We had some car trouble when we were there, and so as I went off to go and get some of those car repairs done, I left Malui and Carmen with the girls, and they just had a great time. The girls were teaching them their swimming skills, and they brought them some snacks and were making them some lunch, and so they really enjoyed the company with them. And we enjoyed seeing the heart of Dr. Bob and his wife and their whole ministry team there. They have a lady who is their designated mom, and she's with them from morning until night to make sure that the girls have what they need. They send a private driver to pick them up from school every day and bring them back to the house, and they teach them Bible verses, and they teach them different skills of how to be a young lady, how to grow up to be a woman, how to be strong, how to raise a family, and more than anything else, they give them the family that many of them are really missing and that they really need. And so some of these girls have a difficult time when somebody does want to adopt them, and they don't want to leave because they have such a strong family unit there with the other girls. But others of them, like a couple that were there, just really latched on to Malui and said, "Please take me with you. I love you. I want to be with you." And so some of them really just melt your heart. And I'm glad that we were able to be a blessing to them on behalf of College Mennonite Church. We're able to take greetings from all of you. And one of the things that Dr. Bob and his wife did tell us is that they love welcoming groups of people that want to volunteer, that want to come out on a missions trip. They would welcome a group from College Mennonite Church that would want to come out there and help them with the new phase of their building project, so that you can see the project coming to life, where they're building the larger home for the children that has a school site at the facility. And one of the positive things that came out of this as well is that my One of my sisters-in-law, who is a retired teacher, is actually going to be going to volunteer for La Ola Children's Home once the school is open, because she really fell in love with the girls and with their model of how they really want to minister to them. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be a blessing to the children and the folks in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, and for allowing us to take a little bit of joy and sunlight to these people at La Ola Children's Home that are ministering to these girls and being a blessing to them and being a family to them and just loving on them.
Thank you, Felipe.
God's Spirit is truly at work.
Remember, friends,
God was, God is, and God will be.
thanks be to God.
The Spirit's blowing, new life we're knowing, giving and growing in the garden of God. Reaping and sowing, planting and hoeing, there's something showing, popping up through the sod. The Spirit's blowing, new life we're knowing, giving and growing in the garden of God.